All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, considering our Dark Side of the Ring review series. I'm your host, Mike, and this is Doink the Clown.
I'm Frank, and this was one of the ones I was actually looking forward to watching. This because we watched Doink
Hmm.
when we were teenagers in WWE once they were having the youth movement. This was also a very dark one, no pun intended, to the show because there was a lot that we didn't know about Matt Bourne,
The
and
original Doink the Clown.
exactly not Ray Apollo who became the second one. So let's go ahead and get into it. They opened up the show. You see Matt Bourne fighting Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 1. That was his first run with WWE. They interviewed Tegan Osborne, which was his daughter. And I like the fact that, I thought it was cool that she said that her father was better than Steamboat in that match. And I mean, I can understand her justifying,
It's her
saying that,
father. It's her
it's her
father.
father, exactly.
Her father.
I thought if you go back and watch WrestleMania 1, I thought that was a pretty good match.
No, it was.
Now my Braun
I didn't
was a good
realize.
wrestler.
I didn't even realize that was Doink the Clown. I mean, like looking back on it,
Oh yeah, yeah.
when I rewatched it, I just completely forgot that Matt Bourne was
I
Doink
knew
the
they
Clown.
had changed it in '93 because you
Yeah.
could see the difference between the
No,
two,
that
but
I
I didn't
knew.
know.
I just
Yeah, but I didn't know either that Matt Osborne was originally doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But they also interviewed Michelle James, who is one of his ex-wives. She was with him from '93 to 2004, pretty much up with him till the time he died as well. They still
Well, they were
remained in
still,
contact.
yeah, yeah.
So she had met him after he was released from WWE. And I like this story when he tells her I'm Doink the Clown, and she's like, "Okay, what do you work kids parties or
Yeah.
something?" He goes, "No, I'm a wrestler." And she goes, "Isn't that shit fake?" I thought that story was funny, especially
Yeah.
when you say I'm a clown.
Yeah. Guess she
They
wasn't a
interview
fan.
No, probably not. A lot of people weren't back then. Also, they interviewed Mick Foley. He's been on quite a few of
Hmm.
these dark sides. So has B. Brian Blair as well. Get to him a little bit. He was a colleague and a friend of Matt Bourne's. He actually said he wanted to be like Osborne in the ring.
Yeah, not
Not
definitely
thank
not
God,
out,
don't mimic him.
definitely not outside the ring.
No, um, the guy had unfortunately had a tragic upbringing. When his parents got divorced, his mom wanted nothing to do with the quote unquote little bastard. Unfortunately, you don't want to hear that from your mom, but I mean, it happens. His father was actually a wrestler, tough Tony Bourne. He tried to not impress his father, but try to emulate him in the ring,
Hmm.
try to to be like him, um, try to live up to his expectations, pretty much. And what Tony Bourne, when they showed back interviews, had nothing bad to say about him as far as in the ring or whatnot. Tom Pritchard was another guy that they had on here, another guy that's been on Dark Side, consistently. He said he met Bourne in the early 1980s. He said he could be controversial and also out of his mind. Well, that I believe after watching this
Hmm.
episode, unfortunately. He worked all the regional territories and he was a hit everywhere he went. Carolinas, his hometown in Portland, even in Texas. He went there, he aced it. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and a lot of people don't know this when they interviewed Jim Duggan. I did because I watched a lot of the old stuff and I caught this. I think it was a documentary or whatever it was. Duggan was part of a tag team with Matt Bourne and Ted DiBiase. They were known as the Rat Pack,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I always thought was cool that DiBiase and Duggan are teaming in one place and beating
Right.
the hell out of each other in
I know that.
WWE. I loved it. Um, B. Brian Blair was the next guy they interviewed, and this story had me almost in stitches here. He said he met him in a bar. Bourne comes up to him, goes, "Yo, why are you hitting on my girlfriend?" And
Hmm.
Blair's like, "Dude, I'm not hitting on anybody. I'm not even here with a girl." So they all of a sudden he punches him from behind. They have this whole big old fight. Tried biting his nose off. He says
Well,
all
he
he
tried
remembers is
suplex him.
going. Yeah, that's the best part too. They're having a match at a
Matt Bourne
bar.
suplexed him, and he reversed it.
My God.
And he said Brian Blair was on top of him and he tried to bite his
Oh,
nose, and
he bit his lip off, spit the blood out.
Brian Blair ended up biting Matt Borne's
Yeah.
lip. Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
And
and you know,
after he gave him a beating, he
he
got
gave him a
back
good
up.
beating, and then he
And he
gets
got back
bandaged
up.
up. Comes back for more. Little while later, he's trying to gouge his eyes out, and I love this. Ivan Koloff just tells him, "Hey,"
No eyes.
kicks him, no eye
He
gouge,
kicked him, yeah.
no eyes, and I'm like, dude, how about break up the fight?
Well, he
You
did.
know,
He kicked him, and that
eventually.
was the end.
Well, he kicked him and said no eyes.
Right, but that was he probably kicked him
Well,
pretty hard.
yeah. That whole thing was ridiculous. As a result of that, shortly after that, then he was removed from the Rat Pack and fired. As a result of it, actually, no, I'm sorry, but it was this and this other incident
Right.
that reason why he was fired, which I don't understand it because we've seen videos of wrestlers being attacked by the
Hmm.
fans, and I'm sorry, but if you come over that railing and I'm going to defend myself, and I don't
There's
care
probably,
how hard I hit you.
there's probably more to it than that, and they probably
I'm
tried to.
sure there is
Yeah.
because Duggan said that he was coming. Again, they were heels and whatnot. He was leaving. He got hit from behind by a fan. He decked the guy, and then Matt Bourne came out of nowhere and pretty much arcade. Not RKO. He gave him that kick to the head, where
Jesus, he
literally
punted
his
him.
eye came out. Yeah, he punted the hell out of him. He got him good. Um, and the best part is the guy, sues Duggan and the company. So Bill Watts says, "I can't take it
See ya.
anymore. You're out of here." And I mean, for Bill Watts to fire you because you're the way you
But
are, I mean,
I got the impression that it was probably multiple incidents. That it was.
yes, it just wasn't one. He had. I mean, just look at the way he was. He was on the drugs. He was just a wild man. So also they had interviewed his first wife, Maria Straley, who he actually, she talks about how he had a kid with her, and she said he barely, he showed up at the 0 hour. She said drunk and high,
Yeah, but
but he
at
showed
least he
up.
showed it. Better late than never, right?
Exactly, as long as he was there.
Jesus
You think he was
Christ,
going to
man.
be there sober? Come on now. This is Matt Bourne we're talking about.
Oh Jesus.
Um, by this point now, WWE had hired him for the first time, but
Mhm.
was fired due to the drug use. So then WCW picked him up. Ted Turner hired him, and he was known as Big Josh.
Mhm.
And he the lumberjack that would come out with the dancing bear.
Yeah,
One of the pay-per-views, he had a
yeah.
bear with him. I
We
thought that was
we
hilarious.
reviewed one of those too.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah,
Not too long ago.
yeah. I didn't even
I
realize
think
that was Doink. I had no idea.
no, I actually had to go back. I think at some time during that we were something we discussed, and I looked it up, and sure
Mm.
enough, it was him. And I might have mentioned it on one of the videos.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know,
of it.
but he had a short stint with WCW, unfortunately, because at that point, then he had gotten an offer from WWE.
Hmm.
Now, considering his track record, I mean, I don't know if Vince was desperate for bodies because this is now the time that the FBI is banging his door down. He's having the youth movement, but he's also having the issues with the government. So to bring in somebody like Matt Bourne, I see it as questionable. But I guess at that point he's like, I'll give him another shot. And so they came up with the character of Doink, the clown, which at that time, I don't know how you thought, but when I first saw him, I thought it was all right. Vince is really like desperate right now, and we got
In
evil
the be
clowns.
I mean, in the beginning, but then I thought it was a good heel. I thought it was,
Yeah,
but in the
I think we
beginning, I
talked
was
about the WrestleMania 9 review that the match didn't. I thought it didn't belong on
no,
the
no, no.
card. I mean,
Yeah.
go ahead. The feud was fine, and once you started getting used to doing, you were like, okay,
Hmm.
this isn't too bad. Hawk had actually called him or referred to him as Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons.
Right. That's
I
yeah.
thought that was funny, man.
I think that's where he got the idea. I think, right? He was the one that would tossing around the idea of it. I think.
Yeah, and then they said that how he was definitely going to sink his teeth into this character.
Hmm.
Like this is perfect for him. As crazy as he is, and he's always trying to show everybody how dominant he is, like
Yeah.
how what's the word I'm looking for? that he was the guy that don't mess with him, like he was the
Yeah.
guy or whatever. But once and his I believe his daughter had said this too. Once they did the two doinks under the ring at WrestleMania 9, that even Matt saw that the writing was on the wall, that he was being set up for failure, because the other I believe the other doink was Ray Apollo, and he actually wound up taking over the character. Him and one other guy. Once Matt Bourne was fired from WWE, and he said, he goes, I was fired because I went back to the hotel and I smoked some weed.
I don't think so.
Well, bro, Vince is going through a whole
I don't
steroid
think so.
thing here.
I don't
I
think he
don't
got
think it was
fired. I
just
don't think he got fired for smoking weed.
not just that. There
Yeah.
was probably some other things that they failed to
Yeah.
mention here or didn't want to. Um, so then they talked about how he stayed up for literally 8 days, uh, hallucinating, doing coke, and just like
Yeah, I bought a big house.
crazy.
He like spent a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
money.
the Doink bathtub,
Yeah, and, like, and then he
and
was
then it
like
all
just
just
doing
came
drugs,
crashing
like
down.
just doing drugs because he was like, upset that he just threw it all away.
Yeah, all he had to do was just stay on the straight and narrow, piss
Hmm.
clean, and Vince loved the character. I mean, obviously he loved it because when Ray Apollo took it over, they ran with it for another year and a half. Even though to me the Doink as the fan favorite when they brought in Dink,
I don't like that.
I wasn't too
Doink,
on board with that. I liked it better as the
The
evil.
evil clown, like it. That was good.
Yeah,
Music and everything. Yeah,
because they had him working the program with Bret Hart at SummerSlam,
yeah.
with Crush, so they obviously were doing something
Hmm.
with him, putting him with Jerry Lawler,
But then
but
he got canned.
he pissed it all away. Um, what's her name? Michelle. She said that he get he was crazy jealous and whatnot. She had mentioned a story that her ex boyfriend came to a bar that they were at for no reason whatsoever. He spit on her. Matt grabbed him by the ears, threw him a beating, lifted up the back of his car.
He was like the Incredible Hulk.
Seriously,
Because even Brian Blair mentioned that was superhuman. That fight that he had with him, he's like, that wasn't human. He's like, he shouldn't have been able to get back up.
he had a lot of aggression that he would put
What was
towards
it?
the
He
fight.
also had a lot of drugs. That was in
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
just
That stuff will make you think you're
yeah,
invincible.
it'll give you superhuman strength.
So I've heard. I haven't done it.
But when I was a cop, I fought some people that were high on some stuff, and they were
Oh, I'm
superhuman.
sure
And
of it, man.
I had to pull everything out, angle slams, DDTs, everything.
Man, I got to sit down one time and hear your stories
The war
because,
stories.
oh man, I would love it. Um, he told the cops finally tased him, and none of that shit is phasing him. They're tasing him, and he's still holding the thing up like some monster. Tells the cops to take off their badges and fight him like a man.
Yeah.
Rips the sink out of the wall in the cell.
So yeah.
Oh my god! Now I've heard crank will make you feel like you're indestructible. Who knows if he was on that? I have no idea. So after all of this, now ECW, perfect place to sign this guy. He wrestled there as Born Again, but he
It was
would
like
use the clown gimmick too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not the whole outfit, but he would use the makeup. And at the end of matches, he would shove the wig in the face, especially when they showed it with Too Cold
It's
Scorpio.
actually a good character.
It was for
Yeah.
the short time they had it. Heyman saw something in Heyman. Gave him a chance. They showed it as Paulie Dangerously in ECW. Now this is when Vince had sent the legal papers. Because Doink was the whole character was copyrighted.
He was doing the independent circuit, and so
Exactly.
Vince sued him.
Yep, and Matt countersued him, so they worked it out to where he couldn't use the Doink character or gimmick, but he would receive the royalties
Residuals,
because
yeah.
the residuals,
He helped, I guess, because he helped create the character.
Yeah, and he's like, I was promised it, and they never delivered on it, and they're still doing it, so they worked it out. He had two more kids with, I believe it was Michelle. Was Michelle? Yeah, that he had with. And according to Tegan, when he was clean, he was a great guy. Great human being or whatnot. He had gotten clean a few times, but unfortunately, it never worked. And they also said when he was high, he would get extremely violent. And one of the stories was he accused Michelle of cheating on him, and he put her in the hospital where she just couldn't see out of the eye for a couple of weeks. When he got out of jail, he asked her, "What happened? Did I do that?" So
Yeah,
he didn't even know what he was doing. I would think at this point, this is your wake up call, bro.
should
That
be.
you need to seriously put yourself in rehab and save yourself and save your family. I mean, I don't know. For me, if that was me, I would be like, okay, I got to reevaluate this stuff. Um, Finally, she couldn't take it anymore, and she just packed a bag, grabbed the two kids, and left. And actually thought that he was going to follow her out and be like, "Lord, this is the day I die," but didn't even bother pursuing it. They just left. So around 2010, now they showed he was on the Pro Wrestling Syndicate. He actually worked with Hacksaw Jim Duggan comes down. He's got Greg Valentine holding the flag, which was cool. He's working with Matt Bourne, and he said that, there was something off about him at this point because he grabbed the microphone, which I guess wasn't planned or whatnot. He literally gave him a low blow in this thing, and Duggan had asked him, you want to work or you want to shoot?
Yeah.
Which one are we doing here? And all of a sudden, Matt leaves the ring, goes out the fire exit, gets in his car, and takes off.
Yeah, I think Duggan was gonna kick his ass.
Yeah,
He was
seriously.
waiting for him. He was waiting for him, like, by the
In the
entrance.
locker room, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, at this point, because it's like, bro, what do you want to do?
Apparently, he held a grudge. That's what Duggan said. He held a grudge from like all those
So
years.
the whole thing from the Rat Pack when he got fired for what he did to the fan, and Duggan at the time, Bill, he was fine.
But that
They
doesn't
didn't do
sound
anything
right
to
because
him.
that can't be the first time he saw him, right?
What since between the two times?
Right. They can't be the.
No, because when he came in as Doink in
Yeah,
1993,
Hacksaw
Duggan
was
was working,
there. He
still
was
working.
there. Yeah. So it wasn't the first
He
time he saw him.
didn't. Duggan didn't leave WWE, I believe, until
I don't
the
know.
summer of '93. I know his last pay per view appearance was King of the Ring
Yeah. I
'93,
mean,
and that
either
was
way,
it.
they cross paths. So
Exactly.
I don't know.
So that he had to have seen him there, but whatever. In 2013, he moved to Plano, Texas. Um, he started Connie Cook, which they interviewed last, was interviewed. He was a girlfriend. He found her on Facebook in 2011. She moved to Texas. Um, she said that how he was great with taking care of her mom, who was on hospice. Now, June of 2013,
She was working in
Tegan
the
was,
ring with him, right? She was working in the ring with him.
yeah, she was
Yeah.
Nurse Cratchit.
Yeah.
So she was just as sick as him.
Hmm.
She would hit people with hands or whatever she could get her hand on in the brief independent things that he did. Tegan was told that her dad might be dead because they read it all over the internet about Matt Osborne. Doink died at the age of 55. She believed, till even to this day, doing the interview here, that Connie killed her father. Connie said that he stole not all her mom's drugs, but one of the vials was missing. And what's funny is the reason why I guess you could say that she's possibly a suspect is because the night before Matt had called Michelle, said that he was leaving Connie, that she was crazy. This man calling her crazy, that's something. The day it happened in the morning, he supposedly he grabbed Connie's hand and asked him to marry me because he's over there, he's in the kitchen moaning and whatnot. And she had asked Matt about missing pills from her mom's room. Reason why that was because it's on hospice, so everything is counted and documented. And he said, "Screw it, I'll just go to jail. I don't care." Um, he was found outside by neighbors, just passed out in the grass, whatnot. They bring him inside. She puts him on the recliner. Now, if he's at this point OD'd, why would you put him on a recliner and just call it a night? Now, even though she claims she heard him snoring or whatnot, why would you wait until the morning to do something?
And then she
At
took a long
6:30,
time to call 911, right? Isn't that part of the story? Like,
yeah,
called a
at
friend.
6:30 a.m. She saw him. She heard him gurgling. She calls a friend. and she says, "Here, listen to this," and she
Yeah, I'm
said
gonna
that
call my
that's
friend
called Death's Rattle.
the death rattle. Yeah.
Death Rattle, yeah.
So your girlfriend or your boyfriend sounds like that, and you're like, oh, let me call my friend in another state. I'm calling 911. No,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
not
exactly.
calling.
And then
I'm not calling.
supposedly the story was that she went to bed for 2.5 hours and then got up and called 911. She
Right, right, right.
denies
And there
that.
was a discrepancy in the phone call, like I guess the phone call, the log, right? The
Yeah,
one time she called. But I
yeah.
don't think,
So
but I don't think that this is what I think. I'm just speculating.
uh,
I don't think she whacked him. I think she was just no, I don't think she
the
whacked
term.
him. Like, because that's the way they were making it seem, like it was
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
So I think
Well. Tegan believes that she made him a drink the night
I
before and
don't
put some
think.
liquid
I mean,
morphine in it, but
again, I'm
the
speculating. I think she was just
investigation.
negligent. I think she was very negligent,
Oh
and I
yes,
think she was just like, whatever, he'll be fine. Probably not the first time something like that happened,
yeah.
but then once she figured out what was going on and she did call 911, it was too late. That's what I
I would
suspect.
have
I
called
don't know.
911 the night
Of
before
course, yeah, but you have
when this
common
originally
sense. You
happened.
have
Yeah,
common sense,
exactly.
so I don't know.
And the cause of death was overdose of hydrocodone, morphine,
Yeah,
and an
the heart,
enlarged heart,
the heart,
which
yeah.
the constant using of the drugs will enlarge the heart.
Probably steroids too, or whatever other drug. Yeah, the drugs and I mean, I don't know if he's. I shouldn't say. I don't know if he was on steroids, but
No.
that lifestyle, the drugs, all the stress
Mhm.
and all of that.
Yeah, his heart was 6 times the normal
Yeah.
size. Um, this Tegan, again, she gave him a drink, but they said that there was
No, they
the
ruled that out. That it
autopsy.
wasn't like
Yeah,
a liquid or whatever.
they found no evidence of Connie doing
Yeah.
this. On June 28th, 2013, that's the day he passed away. As a result of all this, Tegan had suffered from depression from her dad, but she said that so did he. But as she's battling it now, here's what the show didn't tell us, and it rattles my brain on as to why. 2 years after his death, a wrongful death lawsuit was filed against WWE, alleging that WWE created a culture of violence and sacrificed Matt Osborne's brain for its own profit, which led to further illness and injuries, including depression and drug abuse. But meanwhile, newsflash, drug abuse was already there way before both times WWE even hired him, and which ultimately resulted in his untimely death. Um, WWE attorney Jerry McDevitt said that the suit was without merit and blamed the attorneys for taking advantage of the families involved. The suit was filed by the mother of the two of the Osborne's 4 children, and was litigated by attorney Constantine Kairos, who had been involved in a number of the other lawsuits against WWE. Somebody that had an axe to grind with them, pretty much, is what it sounds like. The lawsuit was dismissed by the United States District Judge Vanessa Lynn Bryant, who ruled that they failed to show that the death was linked to chronic traumatic. So it was pretty much it was thrown out. So nothing came about it. I just don't understand why. I mean, I guess because you have nothing else to lose at this
Yeah,
point.
that's all it
That
is.
trying to
They probably
blame
didn't have.
somebody for
Yeah, they,
why their
they,
father was like
they
this.
probably didn't have money either, and they were just trying to get money. This is we live in a country where everybody sues everybody, so it's
Exactly.
not surprising.
No,
So, what a tragic tale, though. The guy
this
had
really
talent.
was.
He had talent.
Yes. Even as Matt Bourne
Yeah,
in the first WrestleMania, I mean,
yeah.
you're in a match with Ricky Steamboat, and I mean, it was great. It was one of the good matches on the card. It's just a tragic life of drugs, alcohol, rage. I mean, this was a sad tale for the man.
Like most of these episodes, and so
Yeah.
it's
So, well, we're not going to come off with a happy ending on any of these.
no. Well, Marty
Unless
Jannetty's
we're,
still alive.
I might laugh on that whole one. I cannot wait
I
for
no,
Marty
yeah,
Jannetty's
no.
episode.
That's
Now
the
I
one I'm
see
looking
why
forward
it's
to
the
most.
season finale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. All right. Well, you guys let us know what you think. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.